What is up, Renaissance crew? I'm the original Renaissance man, Devon DaVinci, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Normally, I do not react to new videos from YouTube content creators. I don't really have an issue with reacting to stuff if it's been re-uploaded by somebody or if it's something that wasn't originally on YouTube, like comedy specials and things like that. Not comedy specials, comedy segments. And but this was actually a video that just was so interesting. I just went ahead and decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and check it out. This is just too interesting. It's something that I've been wondering about for a very long time. And with that being said, though, because I'm reacting to a newer video, I do want to give these guys the proper promotion that they deserve. And this video was created by Outsidexbox. It's a channel that I am currently subscribed to. And I hope that you guys, if you enjoy this video, go and subscribe to them, because they have a ton of videos just like this where they talk about different types of like countdowns for video games. They have previews for new video games. They review. It's pretty much like IGN kind of, except they also have their countdowns and things like that. They don't focus exclusively on new or video game coverage. They also do features and articles that, you know, go into, you know, just fun stuff that a lot of other places don't really do. So this video is called 7 Glitches That Became Beloved Features. Now, the thumbnail on the video had Gandhi from Civilization. For those that don't know what that's supposed to be calling back to, in the original Civilization game, each leader that you could either play as or play against, mostly play against, because I don't think it affects the player character. And I'm sorry, the air just came on, so if there's a humming in the background, that's what that is. The enemies that you would play against, the leaders from other nations, they had specific characteristics. So certain characters like Genghis Khan might be more aggressive. Players like, I'm saying Queen Elizabeth, even though she's probably not in the first game, but someone like Queen Elizabeth is probably more docile, more willing to be diplomatic, things like that. Well, Gandhi was supposed to be the most docile leader on the game, but somebody made a mistake, and one of the numbers that they used for his aggressive stat, I guess they went down to 0, and someone might have clicked the down button one too many times, and instead of 0, the number went down and all the way back to the highest setting possible. So it's kind of been a running joke in the Civilization community that Gandhi is like the most aggressive character on the entire game. And that's something they've pretty much kept doing with each Civilization game, because it was so funny, the idea of Gandhi being this like nuclear warhead collecting world-ending leader, that they just kept it in the game. So Gandhi has always been the most aggressive character in the Civilization games. So let's go ahead and check this out and see what other games they point to that have glitched but have pretty much kept it the same way. I'm gonna predict they got Tomb Raider on here too, because I believe that there's a story behind that also.
We all make mistakes, like in 1929 when a young nerd discovered that a petri dish full of germs he'd accidentally left uncovered had grown a bunch of gross mold. Only that nerd was Alexander Fleming, and that gross mold was the basis for penicillin, the life-saving first ever antibiotic.
You still have to do the washing up.
Damn, I didn't think that was going to work. What I'm saying is, sometimes what initially looks like a mistake turns out to be a really good thing. So it goes with video games, when a glitch occasionally evolves into a popular, or at least hilarious, feature. Don't believe me? Fine,
Okay.
See for yourself in these 7 glitches that eventually became beloved features in some of our favourite games. What? Man, really? Man, Alexander Fleming never had to do the washing up. If he had to, he wouldn't have had enough time to invent penicillin, would he? And then where would he be? That's right. Oh, man, this mug is gross. It's all full of penicillin.
I think I know the story of Space Invaders too.
Fleming.
It's about processing power, I believe.
It's all thanks to you, Fleming.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what it is.
Street Fighter 2.
Prim, how'd we do?
5 or 6 wounded, Chief. No dead.
That's what I like to hear. Let the throat cutters finish up, then break out the casks.
In Dragon Age Inquisition, well-hard mercenary leader Iron Bull has a second in command by the name of Cremisius, understandably shortened to Crem.
What can I do for you?
After Iron Bull joins forces with you, his lieutenant follows suit. And when this merc isn't out merking, you'll find Crem hanging out in your Inquisition fortress at Skyhold at the tavern.
I thought this was Skyrim.
It's got a good ring to it. We're happy to be here, Your Worship. You need anything, let me know.
But Krem appears to be the fidgety sort, you know, the kind of person who can't sit still or sit properly at all.
He's trying to sit on the top of their chair.
This is thanks to a glitch that led to Krem's unorthodox approach to chair sitting.
Your Worship.
This bug didn't go unnoticed, and then along came Dragon Age Inquisition DLC Trespasser.
Another parade, another bloody negotiation.
Developer BioWare knows there's nothing that can't be fixed with romanceable characters, and so by way of in-game explanation for the animation snafu, they linked Krem's curious aversion to conventional chair usage with an adorable and previously secret crush on Meriden, the bard from the tavern. Bard from the tavern? Not since 2016, when they got a new landlord.
You're with the Chargers, are you not? I've seen you in the Skyhold Tavern where I sing.
The story goes that Krem's bizarre chair habits stem from fancying Meriden, and all the chair standing was to give Krem a better view of her. I mean, Krem, maybe go up to her and try talking to her.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that can be kind of creepy.
Songs. Sometimes I'd sit up on the chair to take a better look at your songs.
Oh no, Krem, plan B, back to the chair.
To harness the power of the land, to build a legacy. Gandhi's nukes. That would stand the test of time. Why is there a volcano in Antarctica?
In the very first Civilization game, the leader of the Indian civilization is Mahatma Gandhi, famous for his philosophy of non-violent protest. But dropping a nuclear bomb on your enemy's head is pretty much the biggest act of violence we can think of. Maybe forcing someone to listen to an entire Jeremy Clarkson audiobook? It's a close-run thing. Owing to a bug in the first Civilization game, around the middle of a playthrough, Gandhi would turn from a peace-loving, cooperative world leader into a total diplomatic nightmare, constantly demanding money, threatening you, and failing to listen to reason.
Most untrustworthy leader of the infidels. Here now, the most exalted president, Gandhi of the Indians.
Like a parking attendant if they were put in charge of a global superpower. I swear to God I was only gone 15 minutes. It turns out this was a result of a bug. Gandhi's starting stat for aggression was 1, because in real life he was a peaceful leader. But then if he adopted democracy, which most civilizations do at some point, his aggression was reduced by 2. This being finicky video game code, an aggression level of -1 wasn't possible, so it looped back around to an incredible Hulk-like aggression level of 255.
Sneak attack by the Indians.
You wouldn't like me when I'm Gandhi. The usual result was that he'd demand increasing amounts of money, you wouldn't be able to afford it, and he'd declare nuclear war, all without ever putting on a shirt.
For your foolish pride.
Amazingly, this glitch actually became part of his personality in later editions of Civilization, including the most recent one, Civilization 6, because I guess everyone secretly loved Nuke Happy Gandhi?
My attempts to avoid violence have failed. An eye for an eye only makes the world blind.
Pretty strange behaviour for someone famous for advocating non-violence, though. Of course, there is the theory of nuclear deterrence, in which the presence of nuclear weapons on both sides actually maintains peace.
In a way, yeah. What is it called? It's like mad, mutual... What the hell is it called?
Tell Gandhi that only works
mutual
if you don't
something
use
destruction.
Them.
I forgot the middle word. I believe this has to do with computing
Space
power.
Invaders tells the story of an invading alien force of weird octopus ships that is so non-threatening, the Earth only bothers to send out one weirdly shaped gun to stop them. But although the alien horde initially seems pretty lame, the more of them you kill, the faster they start to move, until you're left with the final Space Invader, who I think anyone who's ever played Space Invaders can agree, can absolutely do one, the cheating little speedy bastard. It seems obvious to us space residents of the 21st century that video games should get harder the longer you play them for, but this wasn't at all obvious to early game designers, and in fact this feature of Space Invaders came about as a result of a glitch during the programming of the game. Space Invaders designer Tomohiro Nishikado discovered that the processors he was working with rendered the graphics for the alien invaders faster when there were fewer of them on screen, so they would start to speed up as more and more of them were destroyed. Rather than fix this so that the invaders stayed at a constant speed, Nishikado kept this feature in the game and in the process accidentally invented difficulty curves in video games.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, ooh.
Which, in a way, means that he's also responsible for the Ornstein and Smaug boss fight in Dark Souls. Sorry, Tomohiro, you're off the Christmas card list.
So Space Invaders led to Dark Souls. Alright, I don't have any idea what this is about. Punch him!
For a fun, kid-friendly, blocky sandbox game, Minecraft sure is full of horrifying nightmare monsters. There are zombies, endermen, ghasts, and withers. But for sheer pant-wetting terror,
the goddamn
none of the
enderman.
monsters in Minecraft
Oh,
can beat
man.
the creeper, a kind of tottering, unhappy zombie that follows you around hissing until it gets close enough to explode and kill you. So it might surprise you to find
Minecraft
out
is
that the
like
horrible, hissing,
I
deadly
Am
creeper
Legend. Like,
started out
you
as
gotta build
harmless
a damn
winking
settlement
pig.
or some type of house and then just try to do it
This
before
is a
nightfall.
creature not usually known for chasing people down and detonating in their faces. Let us know if we're way off base here, pig farmers. When designing the game, Minecraft creator Notch accidentally created a pig model where he'd mixed up the length and height of the pig's body, resulting in a tall, thin creature with 4 small legs clustered at the bottom.
So it would have been exploding pigs,
Rather
possibly?
than deleting the mistake, and maybe also burning the computer he was working on just to be sure, Notch leaned into the mistake, colouring the new creation an eerie green, making it super aggressive, and apparently packing it full of dynamite, because why not?
And right next to the house. Ah.
Oh yeah,
Sucks.
that's why not. All my beloved structures.
Grand Theft Auto.
These days, the Grand Theft Auto series is an entertainment juggernaut, so hugely successful that it's able to force you to play an unskippable yoga minigame and still make over $6 billion in revenue.
Be present, please. Your lungs, they work, yes?
What I hated about this mini game was that they would
10
talk
more
shit
minutes
before
to
you
go.
even have a chance to do
Back to the
anything.
fun.
Like, let me have a chance to fail before you criticize my yoga.
Please, Michael.
Sometimes it is good to just slow down and reflect on, oh come on, one of these buttons must be skip mission. But this huge series had humble beginnings back in 1995
As a 2K
generic
player,
racing
you
game
don't
from
know
Scottish
anything
developer
about
DMA
not being
Design
able to
called
skip.
Race and Chase that was set to feature cops that pulled the player over for driving too fast. Race and Chase spent over 4 years in development thanks in part to the fact that it just wasn't very fun to play. However, all that changed thanks to a route finding bug which made the police far more aggressive than they were originally intended to be. The bug resulted in them trying to drive through people, which led to them smashing into players, trying to force them off the road, or slamming them into walls and other objects. Obviously, testers found this way more exciting than just racing around the city Micro Machines style, and this fed into a greater move towards crime-based gameplay, with players taking on jobs for crime lords, running over pedestrians, and running around in the street machine gunning innocent people, which you'll recognise as the 3 core pillars of the Grand Theft Auto series today.
Ooh, nice shot.
A quick name change later, and Grand Theft Auto hit shop shelves in 1997, to the delight of gamers and the horror of broadsheet newspapers everywhere, and remains to this day the only Grand Theft Auto game with playable female characters in the main story. Maybe that was a bug as well, who knows?
Welcome back.
I'm sure there's going to be one in the very near future. Combat juggling.
Let's rock.
In the real world, juggling is a lame party trick that never impressed anyone, so I don't know why I even bother. Why did I even go on that course? In the Devil May Cry series, on the other hand, juggling is a hallmark of the intense, over-the-top action game combat we know and love and occasionally manage to pull off. This juggling involves launching enemies into the air with one attack and keeping them up there for ages with yet more attacks. And unlike the kind of rubbish juggling you find clowns doing in circuses for babies, the juggling in Devil May Cry is outrageous and stylish.
Devil May
much
Cry
like Dante
3
himself,
had the
and unlike
wackiest goddamn
circuses and babies.
cutscenes.
See, that's a party trick. Now, legend has it that this iconic
Animusha.
Devil May Cry combat mechanic was born from a glitch in an entirely other video game.
Yes, the first
that
Animusha.
other video game being Onimusha Warlords, the PlayStation
this game is what got me to buy a PlayStation 2. Well, not to buy, ask somebody to buy a PlayStation 2 for me. It was this, and there was another game called Ring of Red. It was like a turn-based mech game. One of my friend's parents had a PlayStation 2, and they played this and Ring of Red, and it's what literally I just dropped what I was doing because I was a PlayStation 1 loyalist, and I just I physically felt my jaw drop when I saw this. I was like, oh my god. And then it had Bouncer, and later on Final Fantasy X came out, and it was just like, okay, I gotta get this system.
PlayStation 2 Samurai
Sadly, that
action
was the
adventure.
last good Final
During an
Fantasy,
Onimusha
as far as I'm
playtest, game
concerned.
designer Hideki Kamiya found
15
enemies
was
could be hurled into the air and kept aloft by slashing them over and over. This unintended but extremely cool bug was cut from Onimusha, but Kamiya, who knew a good thing when he saw it and was the director of Devil May Cry 1, made it the foundation of Dante's aerobatic demon fighting.
That seems like an infinite loop. That's something that has to be worked on, right?
£700 down the drain. Well, it was that'll learn to drive. Can someone give me a lift home?
You walk, juggler.
Combo breaker.
Combos, in which you string together a series of attacks that leave your opponent unable to counter them, are such a cornerstone of fighting games that it's almost impossible to imagine a time before you could watch a genetically engineered raptor hit someone 76 times without pausing for breath.
Isn't it interesting how like certain fighting games people just like connect with and other ones they don't, as far as like characters are concerned? Because there's a lot of, especially in the early 90s, after Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat came out, there was a lot of fighting games that tried to capitalize on the popularity those two games brought in. And a lot of times, they just did not have interesting characters. I don't know what separates the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter characters from other games and their characters. There's a couple of exceptions, like Killer Instinct. The SNK games had some interesting characters in it too. But there's a lot of games that just like died out, like shovelware, and they just had the worst characters. I don't know why certain characters like connected, because if you think about it, Street Fighter 2 didn't have like a robust story really, and Ryu was just like a generic martial artist. Mortal Kombat was just Enter the Dragon, so it was like you had a Bruce Lee character. And well, I like Bruce Lee. That's why I gravitated towards Liu Kang. But I mean, the idea of a ninja that can freeze stuff sounds interesting, and one that has a harpoon that can draw people in, that's interesting. So I can see how some characters carry on, but other ones, it's just like I'm not sure why exactly it worked and other characters didn't.
Hey, that could have happened. The fossil records are unclear. And yet, combos weren't always a thing, as you'll realise if you go back and play the original Street Fighter and try to do anything other than very slowly shuffle towards your opponent and gently place your foot on their shin.
What's also interesting on this is Ryu has a karate gi, but he has kung fu shoes on.
The accident arising from a tiny bug in Street Fighter 2 that was discovered on the game's
I'm glad
bonus
they
stage,
changed that.
Kick some guy's car to pieces for a laugh. The game's lead producer, Noritaka Funamizu, discovered that extra attacks were possible if you could nail some extremely precise timing, but figured that it was so difficult to pull off that hardly anyone would be able to take advantage of it. I mean, who would have the time and energy for that? So he left it in the game, and immediately people started taking advantage of it because of course they did. The beauty of combos was that the initial hit temporarily immobilized your opponent, allowing you to follow up with successive attacks that they were powerless to guard against. Not only did this give a competitive advantage to skilled players, but it also looked super cool, and as a result, combos became an integral part of future fighting games, to the point where the Killer Instinct series has you pulling off strings of attacks almost 200 moves long.
That first initial release of Street Fighter 2 games must have been broken as hell.
In Marvel vs. Capcom 3, in which Deadpool hits you with his own Ultra Combo meter. For which, thank you.
I get the cover of the next Street Fighter for this, right, Capcom? Right?
Thank you very much for watching this video about glitches that became beloved features in games. But if you want to watch more videos from us, up here is one from us, which is about video game gimmicks that were too beautiful for this world. They were too far advanced of their time, and they just sort of didn't work. So they never appeared in any other games. And down here is a video from Outside Extra, which is about the times when you would load up an old save and not really know what was going on, and sort of wander around going, what was I doing last time I was here? Anyway,
Almost
it's very
any
good, very
RPG.
funny. You should watch it.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I could have sworn Tomb Raider would have been on there, because I remember hearing that the whole chess situation with Tomb Raider. Everybody knows that Lara Croft has a bit of ample endowments, I guess you can call it. And she, like, the reason why she got that was because somebody who was doing her character model put in like an extra number in unintentionally on like her chest area, and it caused her chest to like really stick out. And then they just said, you know what, let's just keep it like that. So I was expecting to see that there. There was a couple of them that I didn't know anything about. I didn't know anything about the Dragon Age Inquisition one. I never beat Dragon Age Inquisition. I got far as heck in it, but I never beat it. Which other ones was there? I mean, mostly the Street Fighter one. I had an idea of the Space Invaders. So there was a few of them in here I didn't know about. But yeah, like I said, Outside Xbox, they have a ton of videos on their channel that are just like these. I see one on here that says 7 times realism was too real. That could sound interesting. But yeah, they have a ton of different videos where they just do countdowns of interesting topics that a lot of people don't really tackle a lot. Like everybody does like the top 10 games of 2000, or top 10 fighting games, or top 10 like, you know, games, like things like that. But they tend to be more creative with their lists. So be sure to go and check out their channel and check out the other list. And if you like this one, make sure you go to the original through the link in the description box down below and hit the like button, because I mean, I think at this point they deserve it. If you're watching this video at this point, then I think they deserve their like, as well as mine. So make sure you give me that like, subscribe, and share. And I will go ahead and move on to something else. Hopefully I will see you guys there. So, you know, you never know what I might have next. I'm the original Renaissance man, Devon DaVinci. I'm going to give you the deuces, and I will see you on the next video. Deuces.